Hello again to another Agricultural Reacts. Today we'll be watching Spinning Flax from British Pathe. If I'm not mistaken, the flax, it's a plant that it's made, you can do like flax seeds, eat them, and then you can make linen, I think, from it, isn't it? Okay, let's just jump into it. So we're gonna learn and see what's exactly going on with all that. British Instructional Films presents. Why is it called Pathe? Spinning flax. I guess there must be something else there with like showing how the flax
fibers as they arrive at the mill for spinning.
Oh, they arrive in the mill already. Okay, so
the fibers
fibers.
vary in length, and
So there must be something about how the flax is grown and made into the fibers.
Over a series of metal spikes. These spikes separate the fibers and take out some of the shorter ones. The operator takes handfuls, or pieces as they're called, of these fibers and lays them down. He then places these pieces crisscross to make a bundle.
This is made in like between 1940, I think.
Bundles large enough
1949.
for convenient handling are taken away.
So
they are now ready for the first machine process. It is in this process that the fibers are combed. This is a hackling machine where the actual combing takes place. Let's follow the stages in this machine from beginning to end. First, a boy takes pieces from the bundle and places them, two at a time, in the machine.
Boy.
Here, like a letter U upside down, they hang over a bar of metal. Automatically, another bar is screwed down, thus clamping the two pieces together. They are now passing into the part of the machine where the combing or hackling is done. Only one leg of the U is dealt with at first. The other is combed later.
Sorry guys, I can hear that one of my cats is trying to get in and the doors are closed, so let me just pause there for a second. Come on in, Shadow, come on in. Shadow is the one that wants to get in. And just continue. Yes, Shadow? Yes, Shadow? You coming in? No?
Series of steel combs
You're not coming in, huh?
Belts. At first, the pins or teeth of these combs are spaced about 6 to the inch. But at the far end of the machine, there may be as many as 60 pins to the inch. You can see the different spacing of the pins as they pass through the fibers.
You gonna say hi? You gonna say hi to everyone?
Down the machine from left to right towards the boy.
That's Shadow. Don't get onto him.
Moved on, then lowered to the combs. They come out. The first stage of the combing is finished. But notice that the fibers still vary in length. Here's how the shorter ones are removed.
That's interesting.
The pieces that pass on now have one half in which the fibers are much the same in length. Now the other half must be combed. The difference between combed and uncombed parts shows very plainly here.
Just like with the hair, when you not comb them, they look totally different than the one that they combed.
And the fibers moved over so that the whole length is treated. At last, the completely hackled pieces are removed from the machine and again placed crisscross in bundles. The bundles are weighed and are then piled up to await the next stage. It is in this stage that the flax is spread and drawn to length.
Drawn to length? Guys, I'm learning new meanings for the words.
Between these two girls is a wide belt, slowly moving from right to left. Bundles of hackled fibers are delivered to this machine, and the girls pick up pieces and carefully place them on the moving belt. They are very particular about the amount of overlap of one piece on the one before it. The 4 streams move along slowly. Each passes under a roller. After the rollers come the moving bands of gripper pins. Held by these gripper pins, the streams are carried towards 4 larger rollers. These move a little more quickly than the bands, thus drawing out the fibers in continuous lengths. Continuous lengths. There is no sign of any join or overlap. This is what happens to the streams. Each is pressed down into a bin. We must now call these long lengths of fibers sliver. Sliver from 6 bins is now taken to feed another machine. This sliver is drawn upwards, over pulleys, passes to the right, and then down again. Under rollers to more gripper pins. This time the streams are narrower. Let's look more closely at what is happening. Underneath each stream is an endless belt of pins. Units, each having a double row of pins, move into position, and the pins pierce through the sliver from below. Again, rollers draw the fibers out through the pins. They pass down through slots. This time, all 6 streams are going to be rolled together. Once through the slots, they meet and form one stream. Let's look at that again. 6 streams meet and form one, after which the one passes under a roller as before and into a bin. This is repeated a number of times, the sliver being drawn out further and further until the original width of 6 inches is reduced to about 1/4 inch. This sliver is now ready for twisting, the first stage of which is called roving. Here is sliver passing into bins and almost ready for roving. Sliver is fed from these bins into a roving machine. The width is reduced and the length increased by the same means as before. In the end, the sliver arrives at the spindles, which put the first and rather loose twist on it. This is what the sliver looks like just before it is twisted. Each line is going to a spindle, which it enters through a hole at one end. Almost at once it passes out through another hole in the side of the spindle and down one of the arms of the flyer. In spinning round, the flyer gives a twist to the thread and winds it onto the bobbin. In order to make the wind even, the flyers move up and down over the bobbins. These bobbins hold the rove, which is between 5 and 12 times as thick as the finished yarn. The rove is now ready to be spun into yarn. This is the machine which completes the operation of spinning. All along the top are scores of bobbins containing the rove. The rove is drawn from the bobbins into a vat of hot water, closed by wooden lids. The hot water softens the natural gum that surrounds the fibers, so that when they're spun and the gum has set again, a firm, strong thread results. Here is a row of the spindles that do the final spinning. Above them, you can see hot water dripping off the rove. Very careful looking will enable you to see the steady rise and fall of the flyers as they wind the yarn onto the bobbins. A good place to see this is at the bottom edge of the picture, a little to the right of the center. The wet yarn is now reeled to hanks. The bobbins, while still wet, are placed in position at the top. Let's see her replace an empty one and join the yarn to that already wound on the hank.
Oh, so it's just like tied together?
Up and down as it was wound on by the flyer and onto the hank. There's always an empty bobbin to be replaced by a full one. These hanks will soon be taken off the machine. They are now ready to be dried and bundled. Drying is done by hanging the hanks on bars on an endless chain. The chain takes them right up into a drying room and brings them back dry to the same place. Here they are passing down and out of the drying chamber. They are now ready for bundling. For ease of packing and transport, bundling is neatly done in a machine like this. The hanks are pressed very tightly together and tied up. The spinner's work is finished. All these bundles are ready to be taken to the weaver, who will use the flax yarn for making linen.
Linen. So, like I said, that was it. I have to see how flax is actually made into fiber first. I'm kind of curious about that, what they do with it first to make fibers from the plant. I have to find out. It's probably there too. Anyway, did you learn something new? Did you know that flax is made into linen? Well, I kind of was suspecting it, but I wasn't sure. So I learned. I'm sure now that that's what it is. Thank you very much for watching, and see you tomorrow. Bye.